Legendary tech YouTuber Linus Tech Tips contemplates retirement. Hi, I'm Tommy C, and this is Shot from the Point News. Linus ran a stream pretty much out of nowhere last night on his main channel saying, I'm thinking of retiring. And that comes to a big surprise to many because he just recently reached the 10 million subscriber mark. And he talked about in this, I don't know how to put it. Dreary is the wrong word. But no, I think very emotional stream where he talked directly to his fan base that the pressure had been building leading up to the milestone. That he has 3 kids now, and the company could probably survive without him, and that other things were taking his interest and distracting him from his main job. This comes as a huge surprise. Linus is probably one of the most well-known tech YouTube channels, and certainly one of the oldest. Also, this was, I guess I could put it like, this stream was it was very self-reflected, very humble, and he talked about failures that he made, especially recently, about some hardware that went out. And I'll let him tell the story.
It's been becoming more and more obvious to me that because of all those things that I'm focused on, I haven't had the time and energy to keep up with some of the minutiae of the tech world the way that I used to, the way that I love to. And it's not, honestly speaking. Sometimes I feel like it, but it's not because I don't care anymore. I mean, there have been a handful of times, massive shout out to my team, because a lot of YouTubers don't get to take a week off, but there have been a handful of times when I've taken a week off, and within a few days, I'm getting the itch to upgrade the firmware on something, or swap out a whatever, just kind of see what happens, right? But the reason that I am having a hard time keeping up is I just find my life is so full of other priorities right now. I mean, there's the business, there's the job of being a dad. I have 3 kids now. There's just the responsibility of having this team of 30 people that, they want to meet about, a project on the weekend they want to borrow some gear for, or, their creative fulfillment, or, they're going through something personally, financially, or emotionally, and there's so many demands. And I think that the mishap with the Radeon 5600 XT, is a perfect example of this. My attention was split over the last few days, and I was only about 30% listening to Anthony when he explained the issue to me. So the issue is that AMD issued a firmware update to the cards that made them perform better at the last possible second, and pretty much as soon as he said, yeah, we did all of our testing with the updated firmware, I kind of tuned out for some of the finer details, which included that some of the cards had already shipped with the slower firmware, and that board partners didn't have a clear plan for how they were going to fix them for people, so reviews were effectively going to be advertising a card that was going to be slower for some people than advertised. And then I didn't follow it up. I compounded my error by saying it wasn't a big deal on TechLinked. I have since edited that video. I don't know if it'll be updated by this time, but the truth of the matter is that in that moment, in the context of all the other things that I have going on in my life, between my son's extra credit homework project, or one of my daughters having potty trouble, or the other videos that I've been working on for the last couple of days just being, quite frankly, more interesting to me, or this milestone that has created more stress than anything else for me, honestly. I let it slip through the cracks, and that's 100% on me, and that weighs on me. I mean, I'm human and I make mistakes from time to time, but I also take my responsibilities as a source of information seriously. I mean,
so you can see Linus, it does seem like he has a lot on his plate, At 33 years old, it seems like retirement would be a little bit unreasonable, no matter how much money you make. But it's obvious that there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I feel for Linus, I really do. I do wonder, and I can't imagine that he doesn't worry. You know, YouTube's not like any other business. Like, you have a relationship with the YouTuber in a lot of situations. My little podcast, I'm not bragging, but I don't think anybody could do Shot from the Point besides me. Not for a long period of time. I don't. I think that's what you tune into. I mean, if I had to drag in one of my heroes, I don't think I could do the Howard Stern Show and keep the name the Howard Stern Show. He's got to be wondering if he can keep this. Like, if it says it in the title, it's Linus Tech Tips. Well, what do you do if Linus isn't there? Which, of course, probably adds even more pressure that he's experiencing right now. And I do feel for the guy. I've never been in position. I've never had to pay somebody's salary, and I never had somebody depending on me like that. But I do know, as a parent, how difficult YouTube can, professionally anyway, YouTube can be to balance when you got kiddos running in the house. Because I got kiddos running in the house, and I can't imagine having 3 of them. I have one 3-year-old and one 11-year-old. And, that's difficult enough to balance as it is. I imagine he keeps things, he keeps a hard schedule and sticks to it. But, you start to feel a bit robotic. The other thing here is he admits a failure. He's often been criticized for not doing that. I've noticed a few examples myself in a recent podcast. But that could be because his attention is split in so many different ways. I've heard from, I'll just say, a friend of mine that he was dumping responsibility, and I did not get that impression. I got the impression that Linus was, coming clean about why his performance has been the way it's been, rather than making excuses or blaming his kids or anything else. I personally thought that he just laid out the facts. I don't know what your impressions are. I found the stream to be a bit all over the place, a little overwhelming at times. It did feel like he was having some kind of crisis. I don't want to say existential, but it did sort of feel that way. I went through a thing when I turned 30. I know he's 33. I don't know what it is. They say you have your midlife crisis when you're 30 and not when you're 40 now. I'm not sure. Maybe things have changed. I experienced something around that age that was kind of weird, and because kids were coming along and everything else. But overall, I felt that Linus was really, he was really contemplating retirement, but at the same time, he's what that means for others. And I really wish him the best. Godspeed, and we'll keep you updated with this story if it progresses any further, including a retirement announcement. But I got one more thing. Very respected member of the YouTube community, Some Ordinary Gamers, spoke very candidly about the Jaystation situation. That situation being, he's claimed his girlfriend has passed in a drunk driving accident. Here it is. Jaystation is lying about his dead girlfriend. I've spent the entire night browsing and checking with police department in Toronto and Ottawa. No police reports, no local news agencies, and the worst of all, no family is confirming. I'm done with YouTube. I'm done for feeling sorry. I legitimately feel so bad for hearing about the quote-unquote death of this person. I wish I didn't try and look into it to lie to myself instead. I'm clenching my effing fist and ripped some blood out, realizing that some F-face actually lied about dying like this. I'm so effing mad. I have to say, and we're going to have more for you later, I have Canadian members of the Shot from the Point News team that have been looking into this for the past 24 hours, most recently yesterday, and we should have some more answers by today. And when we're comfortable, we'll call it. And it is a really disgusting feeling. It's the worst that I know what he's talking about. I got my guys working on this, and we're looking for a dead girl, and just to see if it really is. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, if he had a better reputation, I don't think people would be doing this. But they're literally looking to see if a girl died. My people have done it. They have found not a thing, not a news report, anything. And I cannot imagine that the Canadian media wouldn't. 4 million sub YouTuber, I can't imagine they wouldn't have contacted Jay or even run a story if they won't in the next coming days. I think when I predict mainstream media will get involved. Again, shot from the point, we will make until we know for sure, we'll make no comment on it one way or another. We have not been able to confirm or deny if his girlfriend Alexia has been killed in a drunk driving accident, but you can bet we'll get it to you as soon as we possibly can right here on Shot from the Point News. Thank you very much. Have a good one.